Hello, hello.
What's up? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you?
I am fabulous. I'm so excited.
I am too. Monichia the Menace is here today.
Eminem, yeah.
I want you to know, so y'all, I was sending voice notes just to get through my pain. She wasn't answering any of my questions and anything. She was very responsible. But I gave one of the characters a middle name. We'll definitely get to that. But I also gave you a middle name because sometimes I just had to yell at you as I read it. So I want you to know over here your name is Monichia Danae.
I like that.
It really fit when I was going through my struggles.
Monichia Danae. Okay.
Yeah, but nobody else could say that, just me.
Period. Y'all heard that, right?
Please. Y'all know I like to tussle. Okay, first before we get started, how are you today? How was your week?
My week was busy. I will say that yesterday, I actually, it was like a canal opened or something, and I started writing my next story. I've been working on this story for a while, but I felt connected to it last night emotionally, and it was rolling, like it was rocking. I'm fucking shit up in this next one. I'm so excited for that. So right now, being here, being with you, I feel phenomenal.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. Now, real quick, the next one, is it similar to this? Is it something a little different?
It's part 2.
Let me get myself mentally prepared. Nah, I hope it don't drop to the end of the year because I need time.
It's definitely part 2.
Okay, I'm not going to ask anything else. Okay, before we get to the nitty gritty of the book, how did you come up with this story?
It just kind of came out of me. I was going through a really dark time, and just visualizing Danielle. She came to me first, and instead of me whooping somebody's ass, Danielle was just that girl for me. She was so pretty in my head. You know, she was Rico Suave. She had muscles. She was a real big stud at the time, you know?
Okay.
And I was just living through her, and I just was like, you know what? I want to give her her own world. And in that process, it took 5 years. That's how Trigger just truly just came, just from that first moment of, this is like my imaginary friend, and I want to create her world to be chaotic in.
Okay. Now, we'll dive into the twists and turns, but I just have one question that I have to ask. Or maybe I have to ask it at the end, but the way that stuff unfolded, we get these different POVs. Each part is a different POV, but each POV takes us back, you know, from certain milestones in the previous story, so we can see it unfold from the other end. So were you able to write it from beginning to end? Did you have to keep going back to other POVs to fill in blanks? How did you do that?
I started with part 1 and then went to 2, 3, and 4. I was learning how to write, though, as I was writing it. I was taking a creative writing course, reading different books. So as I moved on, I got better with connecting and losing my voice and getting those characters' voice. Kevin, I think it caught on when Kevin came. I was like, okay, I got something here. Sigrid took me 2 weeks to write. And then I had to go back to make sure everything aligned. On my wall, I literally had from 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. And I needed to know where everybody was, what everybody was doing, even the minor characters, you know, just to make sure everything flowed. It was definitely a process to do that.
That was...
back and forth for sure. It was a lot of back and forth.
Okay, so let's just get right into the story. So, the prologue.
Okay.
What made you say, I'm just going to come out the gate? Thank you. I'm going to come out the gate just with insanity. Because I was telling someone else, when I finish the prologue, because, you know, when I pick books for the epilogue, I pick them blindly. Just if I have a theme for the month and I feel like it fits and it's something that's on my TBR, then I pick it. when I finished the prologue, I was like, what did I get myself into? And my followers, because like they read me because of me, like, I don't know if I can handle this because you came on strong.
Did you read the trigger warnings before you started?
I did read the trigger warnings, but I've never experienced all the triggers in a prologue. You see, I thought we was working our way up. The triggers was all for the prologue, though. And I was like, oh, okay. Now, I wasn't scared. I was still excited, but I was just like, damn, this might be the strongest book I ever read. What made you come out the gate like that in the prologue?
Well, the prologue was written last. And just to, at the end, I don't know, it just made sense. And I was like, you know what? Because originally I had somebody, a body on the first page, chapter 1. The original chapter 1 that I had is now chapter 8 in the book. Okay. But I still wanted that like first page, like I wanted to just grab you by your throat, bring you to me, sit you down and carry you. And so I wanted that to have that same momentum, and it just made sense to start there. So I created that whole just montage of just chaotic. Yes. And it worked out. I was very scared at first. Like, ain't nobody gonna make it past the prologue. They ain't gonna fuck with me. They gonna think I'm shot out here. You know what I'm saying? They gonna think I'm one of them. And I am. But hey. Oh.
I'm not mad at it. I know, not by my throat, girl. Take me out to eat first. Yeah. Okay. So we get to meet Sigrid, which we later know her as Cece. She is like head in charge, and the prologue really sets the tone for us to know exactly who she is. Like, we find out she got the police in her pocket. She got everybody working for her. It was like everybody in the prologue worked for her. Everybody did what she told them to do and moved accordingly. So it definitely, you set the tone properly. Like, as soon as we saw her again in the story, it was like, okay, what this bitch on today? Now, the prologue ended in what I thought was a cliffhanger because we get back to the car and the little girl's gone. We get to the POV, and I'm like, this can't be the little girl that was in the car. This can't be the little girl that...
It is. It is.
What was the choice behind it?
Well, so Sigrid is a narcissist. She's a very powerful character, very loud, boisterous. She takes over any scene that she's in. And at some point with writing, I fell in love with Sigrid. And that bitch convinced me that this was her book. Like, my editor had to remind me, yo, this is Danielle's story. Truthfully. And so my prologue was actually chapter 20. And I had to go back and I rewrote it. It was the last chapter that I wrote, chapter 20. And I said, you know what? Like, to do this properly, let me just make that a prologue. Like, I had no intentions of having a prologue. But going through like my betas and just my editor, I felt like that was the best thing to do, to introduce you to Sigrid, because I really loved her.
Yeah, you definitely.
And in some way, it's kind of her story too, a little bit. So,
to be honest, in the end, I feel like it was Cece's story. Now, Danielle was a major, major part. I feel like just depending on what resonates with you the most is either Danielle's story or it is Cece's story. And that was good. So present day, chapter 1 takes us to Danielle's POV. She's part 1. And she's talking about wanting to have a baby, wanting to be her own person. Now that I've finished the book, I am curious, what made you add that piece of the storyline? Because she did Danielle, which we will get to the importance of me specifying Danielle. Danielle does frequently speak to wanting to have a baby, believing she may already be pregnant. What made you add that element to the story?
A lot of me is in Danielle. And I felt like the best way for me to truly write the story was to use my experiences, use my thoughts. Because I'm not an experienced writer. So I have to I have to do mine from the chest. So a lot of that was my thoughts, my vulnerability that I put on the page. I've always wanted to be a mom. myself, and it just felt good to just kind of process, my therapy through Danielle.
Okay, I love that. We get to kind of Danielle's life. Like, we're learning about her. She has her business. She has Jasmine, who is Sigrid's niece, who works for her in the office. And it was very interesting because our first interaction with Jasmine, and she is like, you need to do something about Cece. She cheating on you. She got money in your name, girl. She got all kind of stuff going on under your name, girl. What you gonna do about this bitch? And I was shocked. But again, you were setting the tone. We didn't know it at the time. I will say Jasmine was the first element in the story that tells us, like, yes, Cece may have these, she may be in control of the pieces on the board, right? Mm-hmm. But the pieces also have their own game plans going on. What made you choose Jasmine to be the one to kind of introduce this notion to us?
That was one of the parts where I had to go back. I wanted her secretary, her assistant, to always kind of be like that sound voice in her head, the opposition. It just made sense, though, going into part 2 to make Jasmine a relative. Like, through her character development, it just all kind of landed. Jasmine was always going to be the assistant. I didn't know she was Sigrid's niece when I first wrote her POV. But like I said, through her development, it came along and it just fit, We need a little opposition in the beginning, It
just spiced it up. And I will say, too, at this point, I was so locked in. I'm trying to read through everybody. So I was like, okay, now what's Jasmine thing? Is Jasmine setting Danielle up? Like, I was checking everybody out, okay? We find out about this $23.7 million that's in a shell account under Danielle's name. And we are also trying to figure out, like, okay, because for me, I'm still trying to figure out, is this the little girl that was in the car? I was still like, girl, what is going on? So then when Jasmine is giving this information, that's when we like, okay, it's definitely her, because Jasmine's like, girl, what's up? What we gonna do? This your chance.
Get up out of there.
Let me ask this. Did the girl really do IVF? Or was this in her mind?
She did.
Are you gonna tell us? Okay.
She did. I would say that. If I can say anything, she was true to herself. Danielle knew she was crazy, but she did want a normal life.
Yeah.
And I'm not finished telling her story, so
Okay, so Danielle meets up with Winston. She tells us about how she's done all these deals with him. She's made a lot of money with him. He attempts to tell her, like, hey, I knew your mom, and I feel like you need to know the truth. Unfortunately for us to read it, because we want the tea immediately, right? But unfortunately for us, our girl has a psychotic break, and we don't get to hear the tea, because now we got to go to the bathroom and pull ourselves back together. Later on, she goes out with drinks. She goes out for drinks with Sigrid, and Sigrid, what we think at the time is like very vulnerable, very like just going through something.
That. Okay.
Yes. Because, we can only go with what we have at the time, right? So when Danielle's POV, all we can do is take what we see on the page.
Yeah.
So it really does seem like Sigrid is like, something is up, something wrong. Our girl's knocking him drinks back. And I say that too because we also can only compare it to the prologue. In the prologue, Cece is in control. Even when she probably is feeling a little pressure under the surface. She's like, you do this, you get this, y'all go get the girl. Okay, let me go check this out. Now she's knocking back these margaritas, and it's like, girl, you okay? What's going on here? Like, you normally don't get vulnerability like that from somebody who comes out that strong, and especially early in the story. So again, as we trying to figure out what the story even is, I'm thinking like, okay, Cece's starting to break a little bit. I don't know if it's age. I don't know if it's something else. So now I'm thinking this is Danielle, like, story of how she take control. This scene does end up being pivotal to me. Once we get to the other parts, I felt like that scene was very pivotal because I'm gonna come back to that. Let me put a pin in it because I want us to follow. I want us to follow the trail. I don't want to jump out of turn. She comes home, and this is where we meet Diana.
Mm.
Now, I did not peep what was up yet. I did not peep what was up. I can actually tell you when I did. I didn't peep. I didn't first even consider anything until when Danielle woke up in the middle of the night and Cece wasn't there, but she thought she heard her in the living room. When she turned the light on, Diana is sitting on the couch smoking in the dark. I was just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know about this. But even still, I didn't consider what it turned out to be. I was thinking, well, maybe it's like a condo and it's a skylight is lighting up the room. But it did kind of sit with me like the bitch smoking a cigarette in the dark on the counter. I don't know.
In a dress.
Now, did you have to go back and like make sure you left little things for us to maybe piece who Diana and eventually Maxine were? Or were you already like, oh, I'm gonna throw this right here, yeah.
No, I definitely had to go back. First, it was Maxine. Maxine was like a real person at first.
Okay.
But through developing, it came like that. But my editor was the one who actually informed me. She was like, yo, this first part is unreliable narrator. And I was like, oh, okay. Again, I'm learning as I'm writing. And I'm like, okay, that sounds good. Okay, so I can run with this. And so I did. And I threw Diana in on the end. And again, as I kept going, like I said, I would truly 1, 2, 3, 4. I would have to go back because something made sense in part 4. I got to make sure that it makes sense in 3, 2, and 1. So it was definitely a lot of going back and plugging in. And I need to drop this. Like, what moment can you get that reader, like that beta girl that'll pick up on? Oh, okay. You know. So I have fun.
That's why you said that when I sent you that. Okay. Because like I said, it wasn't a counter. It never crossed my mind really like, hold on, let me see. When they were in the parking garage. So we find out in the story that some guy is following Danielle. She has noticed it. She sees this car following her, but she hasn't done anything about it. But our girl Diana is like, bitch, who is it? So our girl Diana is like, girl, he in the parking garage, let's go. We not finna have this. So Danielle referenced that when they was sneaking up on the man and they were standing by some cars, she references looking at a window but only seeing her reflection, so she looks, to see what Diana is doing. Right there in my mind, I said, oh, bitch, Diana not even real. Yes. This hoe is not a real person. So I'm about to get to a very important question, so you just gather yourself real quick. They ambushed the man. He says, I work for Desi. She just had me watch you. I'm not here to do nothing. I'm not here to bother you, girl. I'm just keeping an eye on you. They have him go to the stash house. They handcuff the little boy who we find out is Noah. Why would Diana put her mouth on that man and send him on up to glory? Because then we also find out that that's Diana's thing, I guess, is to have an intimate moment with her victims. ¿Por qué?
It was just a build on the crazy. I think by the time Diana came to the scene, I was okay with taking it there.
Okay.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And then a lot of my favorites, I was able to channel, like Maxine's muse is Huck from Scandal. You know what I mean? That's that, and like this, it was several episodes where he would lose it, and I would watch over and over his mannerisms, what he's doing, how his mouth is twitching, and I'm just taking notes on it. So with Diana, it was just like, how can I just make this lady batshit crazy? Like, what will be something that no one would think she would ever do? And I was like, let's go.
Well, you accomplished that, friend.
Hey.
I'm saying he was the muse, really just locked it in for me because he was my favorite on Scandal. I loved his crazy ass. Let me see where I'm at, child. Okay, so we get to a scene and Secret is explaining that actually the harlot is alive, which we get this flashback from Danielle's POV telling us how her mom was taken. And so it's like, well, because but as you said, what you said, unreliable narrator. Because again, like I said earlier, all we can do is go off of what Danielle is telling us, right? We just following what she says. So at this point, I'm thinking Cece lying to the girl. Why would you tell this girl her mom is still alive and this girl just told us how y'all took that lady? Did you think, as you were writing this part, hey, Katie, as you were writing this part, did you think that the readers would believe Danielle or believe Cece?
I think for me, it was like, if it don't matter at this point, I done gave y'all so many clues. Like, I've been just, I mean, God, if you don't believe it now that she crazy, I don't know what to tell you. But I did want to put that in there because it came back after I wrote part 4. Again, just going back, having to change. But for me, like, if the reader can't get it by that point, I mean, my girl wrote.
Let me defend us as the readers, okay? We do know that Danielle's crazy. I know I did. We know Danielle is crazy, but also we have seen how Cece can move. So I think for me, I didn't believe it at first because I feel like this is a chess move for Cece. Everything Cece does is a chess move. So her lying to this girl, telling this girl her mom is alive, there's something behind this. Like, because that's my view of Cece at this point. Which just means that you did a very good job in your character development of her because, okay, that's all I'm saying. Now, friend, because I wrote Danielle / Maxine hunched Jasmine at work.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to add a little spice for anybody that needed it. You know, it's a lot going on. And as adults, we fucking, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to just stay true to my characters. You know, I wanted to make sure that they showered. It was just certain things that I wanted to put in there. Them niggas is eating, you know? And at some point I was really locked into this story, dissociated in, and that's what, even with her looking in the window, all of that was truly me seeing this as a movie and just writing what my characters is telling me. You know what I'm saying?
I just realized I forgot to start this with a toast. And this next part, I actually want to toast to this because as someone of the equal opportunity persuasion, I feel like these books do not give scissoring the spotlight that it deserves. I was so happy that this book gave me some of that because you know what? When them crevices line up right, it just unlocks a whole new power. And shout out to you for giving us that. So here's a toast to scissoring in books. Okay, shout out to that. Yeah. Shout out to that. Yes. That's a good time.
I don't know what these other people doing, but you know, in my world, I'm putting it in there.
Yeah, I was very elated when I got to that part. Okay. Now, this was the hard part about writing the notes. It was some points I was so locked in, I wasn't writing nothing down. I was too focused on the book. The Maxine scene where she picks her up from the airport, they go to this diner. That's when, for me, it was confirmed, like, okay, this bitch just got a lot of people upstairs. Because she is sitting across from Maxine and she keeps referencing how Maxine is sitting across from her, Maxine is doing this, but the waitress is like, do you want to go ahead and place the order or do you want to wait for your guests? We even get like, she keeps noticing the waitress looking at her like, what the fuck is wrong with this bitch? But Danielle looking at her like, she crazy. No, it's you. You're the crazy one. Also,
Yes.
when Diana had her intimate moment with Noah, Danielle also referenced how when she was talking to Diana, Noah was looking like, bitch, what? But I don't know if he got confused because you about to go, sir. I just didn't know. But when Maxine came in, I said, oh, okay. She has some headmates upstairs, and that's okay. That's okay. Now, we get to this scene where Danny, Maxine, and Diana are fighting for control to get through this door to be essentially like in the driver's seat. How did you work through like coming up with writing that scene? Because I felt like I could see them like fighting to get through this door. Like, how did you write that scene out?
At first, that was the beginning, that scene. And truly, like, my first couple of paragraphs was just her waking up in the dark. Like, I didn't know how to put it, what to do with it. Of course, it got developed at the end, but like, I just wanted to show somebody taking over that wheel. And just how it felt. I do have my mental challenges myself, and just how can I translate what I go through or what I've experienced and put it in this work. And that's just what I saw, this dark room that felt like a bounce house. And I wanted people to, at that point, it's like, okay, you see she's trying to fight. I wanted everybody to know that Danielle never sat down, okay? And regardless of what she was going through, her biggest ops was herself. You know what I'm saying? Like, in everything you do in the world, your biggest opportunity is yourself, and that's for you to be better. And that's where that scene came from. Just wanting to show the readers that, like, this lady is fighting, and she's not as throwed off as you think she is.
I love that. That was probably one of my favorite scenes in the book. Because even like them talking at each other of like why they deserve to be in control, what it is that they need. Because each of them had a different goal in mind, a different end game. And you did an excellent job with that part. And so Danny's POV kind of ends with the fight for control and then finally gaining consciousness of like what's going on around her. And we see Jasmine pacing. Jasmine is like concocting her own story on the spot. Winston on the ground. He up out of there. Cece is standing there in control per usual. It was just like, girl, what happened? We cut straight to part 2, which is Jasmine's story. And I think this part, for me, was the most interesting part of the 4. And I say that because once we get to Jasmine's part, I feel like we really are like, okay.
You locked in.
Okay. Yeah. I now I see what's up. And also throughout Jasmine's part, we see more of the, like I said, the pieces on the board trying to come up with their own game plan. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, now I kind of see everybody a little better too, not just the story overall. And her story starts in the office. And we get back to that point where we met her and she's telling us about the money and she's helping her, get ready to meet up with Winston. And we actually find out that this was Desi and Jasmine's doing. So now we get to see her controlling the board. Now, we meet the security guard at the condo building. We don't know anything about him. We just know this guy's like, I can't stand her. What you want to know? Even with what I felt like I picked up from everybody, it didn't cross my mind that, like, he was also a piece on the board. I'm thinking, like, damn, he really hate his job because you're going to risk it all. You're going to risk your livelihood to tell this girl the tea. Like, that was crazy. When we meet I'll just say the security guard for now. Did you already know who he was in the rest of the story? Mm-mm. No, that came in later. Mm-hmm.
He was just a minor character. I would say he was a wheel. When you have your cogs and wheels, when you think of characters, he was just a wheel to get something going. to keep the action going. But as I wrote the story, I said, "Oh, this nigga need a promotion. Let me get hold on now. Let me add a little bit of thunder to him." Yeah, and then like I said, as I kept writing, he just got bigger and bigger, and that's my baby though. You're my baby.
We'll talk about that later. Don't get me started, okay? Now also, Jasmine unknowingly sets up a meeting with Jonathan and the harlot. Now, right there, I said, now Jasmine gonna piss me off in this book. I can already tell because you starting off wrong, girl. You gonna piss me off on today. What was it intentional for a lot of the players in the story to not even know who the harlot was? Because I just feel like she's clearly the biggest threat, period, to everybody, even Cece. So I would think now I've never been a mafia boss now, so I'm only guessing. But I would think if I know I got one person that probably could take me out the game, everybody needs to know what she looked like. Everybody needs to know a description. Like, if you ever see this lady, it's code red. Why is it that nobody seemed to know who she was?
I was inspired by, it's a Hulu series on I can't remember, but the lady was named Harlow. And she was coming back for vengeance. And nobody really knew, because it was so long ago what happened, like who she was. And she was I was like researching like strong women characters, like, in movies who fuck shit up or whatever, just to get some inspo. And that's just how the harlot became. I wanted her to be mysterious. You know what I'm saying? I like how, which is one of my favorite series. I can't believe I can't remember what it's called. I just love how she carried. And like everybody underestimated her. You know what I'm saying? Nobody paid attention to her. She was so plain, but the bitch was fucking shit up, She was. And that's what I wanted the harlot to do. She developed a mind of her own, of course. But it just made sense. It just kind of made sense to keep her, the mystique of her. I want readers to be like, so where's her point of view?
I definitely thought it was coming, but I was like, okay, but I get it. She is like this mysterious just aura that just steps in and out, on her time. So, of course, we don't get her POV. She's too elusive for us to have that. Like, But I loved it, though. And it actually made me think of, I just listened to a Zane audiobook, Vengeance. But the character, they didn't, because she goes back to her hometown to get vengeance on people who made her, like, childhood, teenage years hard. But something happened and she had undergone reconstructive surgery on her face. So she was able to get close and build relationships with people, and they had no clue it was this girl that they had, like, low-key terrorized. So it made me kind of think of, like, yeah, girl, fuck them up. Like, obviously I'm not supposed to root for her, but I was, because why? Yeah, they playing with you. They sleeping on you, girl. Fuck them up. Take Danny Boy ass, girl. So we get to the scene where Desi, who is Jasmine's mom, tells Jasmine that John, aka Jonathan, is a person who is responsible for taking her dad. So off rip, Jasmine's like, oh, he gotta go. Cousin or not, he's out of here. Now, I was a little surprised that Danny ended up kind of being like there. Sleep, kinda, not sleep for real. Acting sleep while you do it, and as soon as you do it, she's like, oh, okay, let me find this bag real quick. I'm gonna be right back. I was like, now what's going on with Danny? Has to take note. Like, at this point, this is a book that you have to have like a little composition notebook, and you gotta jot your notes down, because baby, we gotta come back to it. Yeah. Got to come back to it. So they go to John's trailer, because obviously he's not expecting this from them. So he like, okay, come on, let's talk. Out of there. Out of there.
Bang, bang. Shot you down. Bang, bang.
Yes. Now, the harlot ends up talking to Jasmine, and she even tells her, like, girl, Jonathan ain't kill your damn daddy. What's wrong with you? Where you get that from? And it was nuts to me. Another thing that I noticed in Jasmine's POV was that they were able to kind of tell the difference between who is who when they talk to Danielle.
Yeah.
And I liked that. I like, because obviously I get that they're not real people, but they were able to interact with them as if they were. Like when they would mention like her accent would change, her posture would change a little bit. Now she got a little bit of a cooler walk. Oh, okay, this Max. Okay, now she's a little more high pitched. Oh, this Diana. Like, how? Because that means that you had to come up with personality traits for each personality to help the characters distinguish who is who. How did you determine how to distinguish between Diana and Danielle, though?
Truthfully, I pull when I'm ovulating as a woman, like I'm very emotional, I'm very touchy, I'm very like I'm different. You know what I'm saying? I'm more vulnerable. I speak with my hands. My tone of my voice is a little bit higher, and I just wanted to differentiate like between that. And like and I believe somewhere in I don't remember what part, like we discussed like the different triggers for Diana, and everything. So just knowing that, I kind of just pulled that for me when I get in my moments of like I want to be a girl. Okay. I do. You know, it'd be like 4 days out the month I'd be wanting to be a girl. And that's really where I pulled Diana. Everything from Diana, as far as like her core, that's where I got it from. She made her scenes herself though, you know?
Yeah, she definitely did. Now we get into part 3, which is Kevin. Now, Kevin's part started a little differently because it gave us a little more background of things he has been through, some of his trauma. Because we start his part when he is in prison, and it's his last day. He did his bid. He ready to go, and he is ambushed in prison and attacked. And it was very bad. Like my heart ached for him.
Oh, mission accomplished.
Now it flashes to present day, and we meet Kenneth, aka my Kenny Wayne, and some rando that look like Slater from Saved by the Bell. We get the scene with him and Danny Boy, and I feel like, especially after reading the rest of the story, the scene with Danny Boy also helped us learn that Kevin is a little more emotional or emotionally intelligent, even more than he thinks he is. Because Danny Boy, who also works with him, is honest with him and is like, look, it's getting crazy. I got a family. I don't really know that I could do this no more. Like, it was fun. It was cool. We was out here in the streets. But at this point, I want to go home to my family. And whereas a lot of other people probably would have talked crazy to him, talked down on him, Kevin is like, okay, well, you need to go. Like, I feel you do what you got to do. Stay safe. And it added to me looking at Kevin a little different and really rooting for him because he is trying to operate in the way he feels he's supposed to, especially coming up under Cece. But he really is like, he understands love and he probably would like to have it. It's just so foreign to him. So in that moment with Danny Boy, it's like, yeah, I probably can't be like that, but you got that. So like, go home and hold tight to that. Was that part of your purpose behind the scene with Danny Boy, like the conversation between the two of them, for us to kind of see, I don't want to say a softer side of Kevin, but I feel like you get what I'm saying.
I did. I actually wanted to show a softer side. Like Kevin, by the time I got to Kevin, I was writing. I said, okay, I know how to do this. Like, okay. I was like, okay. You know, it took me 3 months to find his voice. And at that point, I was locked in. Like, how can I show the reader that this is a goofy ass, emotional ass, loving ass, smart ass man, because Kevin is 42. Okay, so how can I show him in every form? And so just adding the different scenes, I definitely felt like that scene with Danny Boy would show that emotional side. Even when he was with Lucille in the beginning and she was crying, not Lucille, Levette when she got her bags, just showing him as a boss that, you know, so that's how that came.
Okay, you did really good in that scene. Like that really stuck with me. Later we also get a conversation between Jonathan and Kevin. And John literally just puts it all out on the table, literally, because it's narcotics and everything.
I love this so much.
But he tells him, like, yeah, Cece is my mama, but they bitches might have sister too. Like her daddy got her pregnant, and that's why I'm here. He also ends up saying, like, dog, I done went to the feds, dog. It's over. It's over. It's over. I can't take it no more. We out. He also tells him about what he saw in the container and how that's also why the prologue was very important, because we see what Jonathan ended up in. And for him to now have the realization, like, here it is, I thought my mama came in his house and saved me from this, but this whole part of the shit too. And it was just, I'm sure for Jonathan, that's a lifelong trauma trigger. And so it's like, unfortunately, my life is dedicated to this woman just for her to be the same monster I thought she rescued me from and I was indebted to her for. And he was just like, I don't want none of it. I don't want this life. I don't want this business. I don't want her to have this business. I'm out. Given how everybody moves, though, did you ever question, like, him actually going to the feds? Like, was there ever a part of you that was like, I don't know if he would really do that?
Yes, actually, and I had to figure out what would be his tick. Like, truly, what would, and like, so a lot of the small stuff, like the box container, all that came in at the end. I really wanted, like, how can I break this man?
Yeah.
Like, what would be his reason if he's so loyal? And this is his mama. Like, they was raised together. Like, you know what I'm saying? They brothers and sisters. Like, that's just day one. You know what I'm saying? So what would it be? And it's definitely layers in part two. That if you don't pick up on, that'll give you the actual, like, information for that scene when they were in the trailer. Mm-hmm. But it was just all about cracking him. You know, how can I just want to fuck him up, you know?
Yeah. And he was. So even John tries to convince Kevin, just like what Kevin did with Danny Boy. John is telling Kevin, like, dog, just get out of this. Like, because really, Kevin kind of was the one who could have just removed himself and left unscathed. Like, you know, he still made some decisions. He made some decisions. But in the grand scheme of things, I feel like he could have been the one to just be like, y'all heard from Kevin? When the last time y'all talked to Kevin? And, you know, because everybody else was so, like, active in the issues, I feel like he was just so far at the bottom of the list that he could have removed himself. I literally wrote in caps, John is working with the feds, child. Now we get to the scene. Oh, another important part in the conversation, part of why Kevin doesn't want to leave is because in his mind, it's very clear Cece gonna have to step down. Like, at this point, it's too far gone. She gonna have to relinquish it to somebody. And in Kevin's mind, it's gonna be me. Mm-hmm. I've been loyal. I've been right there. Naturally, it's me. So, of course, in the next scene, Cece calls a meeting. Kevin and Trey are there, and she relinquishes it to Trey. And Kevin is just flabbergasted, devastated. Because, bitch, how dare you, ho?
Oh, that's what he said it too. Oh,
you got me fucked up, girl. I know you like me. One thing I love, and again, it confirmed, like, okay, I'm reading Kevin right, because when we had the scene with Kevin and Kenny Wayne earlier, one of the things that Kenneth expressed is like, you can do all this stuff with me behind closed doors, but I deserve to go on a date. I deserve to be loved out loud. Like, even a baby step would be nice, but you just want to do Uber Eats at the house? Hell no. Hell no. And you let Cece talk to me in kind of way? Absolutely not. So Kevin hits Kenneth up and was like, get dressed. We're going to go have dinner tonight. And Kenny is like, well, where we going?
Did you like that scene?
I love that scene because it's so real. It is so real. And I say it too because, again, life experience, you can connect with certain things. And I remember that part of my life. And I remember being, because I was the Kevin. I wasn't open with that part of my life yet. And I was dating somebody and it was very like, oh, I mean, we can't hang out at my house. And I remember getting to that point of having to be like, okay, girl, if you like the girl, just...
Going out there.
Yeah, and especially when the feeling is very real, even when you're not ready to say it and, address it, but you know how you feel. And so it's like, okay, if she ain't gonna fuck with me no more because she wanna go out to eat, bitch, we going out to eat tonight. Okay, where would you like to go? And so it just made me proud because, like, I get it, Kevin. Like, I feel you, Kevin, but go and take my friend on a little date. Take my friend to dinner.
He did. He did good, too.
Yeah, and even at the dinner, like him, because obviously he having his drink, so he getting a little more comfortable, he letting loose, and he like, okay, this is not so bad. Like, that was the part I really enjoyed because, again, I remember that. Because in your mind, you thinking, okay, we're going to walk in this restaurant and they going to clock me. And everybody going to be looking at us. And but then when you do it, it's like, anybody even think about us? And I'm having a good time. And you kind of cool. Like, it was just cool to see him. Because also, you kind of do need that internal reaffirming of like, okay, it's not the end of the world. And maybe I do like this. Maybe I am for real. Like, maybe this not just a thing I like to do at home. Maybe this really could be my life and I could be content with this. Like, so I enjoyed Kevin being able to receive, because again, I peeped that in his conversation with Danny Boy. Like, you rooting for it for other people, but like, you can have it too. And I felt like the dinner was him realizing, like, damn, I could do this. I could do this for real. Like, and especially when you already see you got skipped over, CC not giving it to you. Mm-hmm. John and told you himself, just dip, just be out. Now you're realizing, like, I won't even have to be alone. Like, I could just focus on this. I could put my energy into this and, like, live my life. I just, like, for him to be able to experience all of that, especially how his story started for us, I was like, hell yeah. Hell yeah, Kevin. And Kevin wanted me.
I wanted people to love Kevin, for sure. Coming out of it, I didn't think he would be, like what they call, like, book bays. I didn't know if Kevin would be a book bay, but I did want him to be that heartstring. I wanted part 3 to pull on the reader's heartstring, and he did exactly that, I feel like.
He definitely did. So Kevin and Kenneth are talking, and you know how jokingly it's kind of like, I mean, shit, we could just pack up everything and just go wherever. But they both are kind of like, I mean, shit, you for real? Because I'm for real. You want to do it because I do it. And so they come up with this plan of like, okay, pack up your stuff, meet me at the condo. I just got a few little things to take care of, and let's go. We just gonna see what it is, babe. I was elated at this point. I said, yes, now this is the story I want. Now, so Kenneth goes to try to get, things in order to get ready for them to leave. Kevin has a few little loose ends, which pissed me off. I ain't gonna lie, it pissed me off so bad because this ain't the time for that now.
Fuck off.
Because, it made me realize another thing that happened was Sigrid had the meeting with Kevin and Marco. Mm-hmm. And Marco is like, bitch, you got my money? You got my motherfucking bag, bitch. Let me tell you something. You can say what you want in this meeting, but let me find out. Michael said, if I don't get my shit, it's your ass, buddy. It's your ass.
In Spanish. I hope people can understand.
In Espanol, too. And I felt it in English, okay? So when Kevin is like, oh, I got a few more loose ends, I said, now, Kevin, this is not the time to fuck around, sir. This is not the time to fuck around, okay?
Why are you being funny? That's just him. That's just Kevin.
Y'all, I can't even say what's written next, Lord. Wait, I have one more thing I wrote. Kevin and Maxine are best friends. What the fuck? Because, you know, again, now that we are aware, it is acknowledged that Danielle has multiple personalities, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now we get the distinguishment of like when one personality has stepped into the role. And when we get the accent and the energy, and he's like, Max, my dog Max, I see it. Kevin, what the fuck?
I'm sorry.
I'm talking about they have a bromance. Like, they are best friends. Like, Kevin is like, Max, where you been? Y'all got... I said these people have relationships with each personality. Like, this shit is crazy. What made you say, you know what? I'm gonna make the two of them like bruhs. What?
It just made sense. By the time I got to, like I said, part 3 was when I was like, okay, bitch, you can write. Like,
Yeah.
this might be something. Like, you know, so at that point, it just made sense. It truly made sense. I was just layering at that point. Layering, putting puzzle pieces, closing doors, unlocking them. Like, oh, bitch, you ain't gonna get out until we get to the end of this story, okay?
I think this is when I started calling you Monichia Danae. Right there, because what? This is definitely where Monichia Danae stepped in. Because how are we best friends?
They are.
They are, though. And dare I say, I really enjoyed their friendship. So I started feeling like, am I crazy as well? Because why is this my favorite part of the bud? Like, at this point, I'm rooting for Maxine to stay. Like, I want her too. I want her to be my friend too.
You said you love Huck. I'm so sorry.
And that's where it come from, because I was like, you know what? I fuck with Maxine for real. Let her stay. Let her have it. Fuck Diana.
Yeah.
We also got, this is where we also start getting answers from previous POVs too, because in Jasmine's POV, all we know is she sees something in John's trailer and she's like, oh, I need this. She gives it to Kevin and we find out it's his damn birth certificate. John is his motherfucking daddy. I wish you could see all the question marks and exclamation marks I have in my notes, because what the fuck? Like, everybody can. It's just one big ass family, and it was too much. Because I wrote
family affair.
I wrote, John is Kevin daddy. Secret is his granny.
I was fucking them up at that point.
You was in your bag. Let me tell you. If nowhere else in the book, POV 3, you had locked in and was in your bag. I said, oh, Monichia Danae is cutting up. She's cutting up.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm still processing he best friends with Maxine and not Cece, his damn granny.
Mm-hmm.
What made you throw that into the story? Because that was crazy.
Like I said, just with development and just wanting to put the pieces together, and like, what can I give the reader that they wouldn't expect? You know? And that's true. Every moment was like, what can I give? How can I keep it moving? And like I said, what can be a boom? I wanted a lot of small fires. That like, you trying to put this one out. Oh, I got it, bitch. And then nope. Shit, I forgot about that one. That's how I wanted to do it.
That's exactly how, like, as soon as something had settled into my soul, something else shook me up. And I was like, oh, girl, what's going on? But y'all, hold on, let me take a sip, child.
Oh, that good old fashioned.
Y'all, Marco then took Kenny Wayne.
Girl.
Oh. Marco then took Kenny Wayne. Not my Kenny Wayne, girl.
I'm sorry. That one, I'm sorry about.
I read that in the middle of the night. I could not wake up to send you a voice note because how dare you? All these other people in the book, Kenny Wayne, my Kenny Wayne, it was very inappropriate of you. Why would you do that? Why Kenny Wayne? Why would you make us love Kenny Wayne down like that and say, yep, he's out of there?
Some people, sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas, you know? And I love Kenny. I told Kenneth is truly my favorite. But I just wanted to break hearts. I did. And that was one of the hardest scenes for me to write, that scene. I rewrote it several times. I had to trigger myself to write it. And I wanted that moment by part 3, because it was a mirror moment. Once I learned, in class, like, you need a mirror moment in your story. Every part has a mirror moment. And I needed something for part 3 for Kevin for his mirror moment. And it just made sense. And it wrecked me. Like, I had to truly decompress after writing that one.
I was laying in bed reading that book. I politely closed that book, set it on my nightstand, and just rolled over because I just had to stare at the wall. It was too much. It was too much. R.I.P. Kenny Wayne, we love you, friend. Now I will say, Kevin did make me proud. Kevin said, "Oh, bitch, oh, bitch, y'all done fucked up." He went to that bar and turned into a damn sharpshooter. Like, Kevin, you just gonna take everybody out? I literally like, Kevin, leave the waitress. Let the waitress make it. That lady didn't do you nothing. To send his message to Marco like, okay, bitch. Okay, bitch. You want a problem? The problem here.
I am.
Okay, so that's where his ended, and we get our final part, which is Sigrid. I really only got 2 notes because I couldn't put the book down. We see her relationship with Charlie. And Charlie really is like quietly, Sigrid's like her mind, her coach, the team, because they even at one point pull out a whiteboard. And Charlie is like, bitch, you're going to have to list everybody that's after you, and we just going to have to figure out how to let the pieces handle themselves. What made you come up with that scene? Because it was just the perfect way to even start off Sigrid's part, because, like, girl, what is you going to do? Like, because at this point, I'm like, girl, everybody after Sigrid, baby, but why ain't none of y'all done popped her ass? But I love how the scene with Charlie and their game plan really set the tone for the rest of the book. How did you come up with their conversation and how they came up with the game plan?
It took about 3 weeks to finally hear her voice, to like finally connect with Sigrid. And she is my favorite character. And the voice that I kept hearing was, this is my story. Like, I'm the Dundada. And I wanted her to close it good. That part kind of just wrote itself. Like, I wanted the reader to know that, like, you think you know what's going on, but it's really this bitch. And this was her telling me, like, these bitches need to know that that I'm the Dundada. Yeah. And it just made sense with the whiteboard. Like I said, by that time I was kind of like, oh, bitch, I can write. Like, I can do this. And it was a movie by then. And it was all fit. I don't have any explanation of how it got there. Like, Sigrid told her own story. Like, I was locked in with my bitch for sure.
Yeah, it was so good. And it was crazy to me because, even in some of the voice notes I sent, I was already picking up stuff. I was already like kind of reading in between the lines. And as I said earlier, I didn't trust stuff Cece was saying because I know how calculated she is. but I still never even considered that everything that unfolded, Cece really put it into play. Now, when we find out that Kenny Wayne was the guy at the condo, I said, oh, Monichia, don't play. It was Chef's kiss. It was Chef's kiss to find out it was Kenny Wayne, and she set every move into motion. She came up with who was gonna say what to who. This what you gonna do, because I already know what that bitch gonna do. That's gonna take care of this one. That's gonna take care of this. And even when we get back to the scene in the living room where Max, Danny, and Diana are fighting for control, Jasmine is over here trying to concoct her version. Kevin is confronting her about being his granny. We hear what Cece even says, like, yeah, I'm looking at my list. I'm crossing off each name, and yeah, it worked. Even to where when Charlie comes and she's like, damn, who took out the MVP? What's going on? Like, Charlie is like, yeah, we ate that. We ate that.
Hey, down. They did.
Was it really hard for you? Because, I mean, you really had to go thoroughly back at everything that you introduced us to, everything we saw unfold. Sigrid basically tells us, like, this is how this happened. This is where this came from. This is why this person did this. Was that hard for you to do? Because it would just seem so impossible to tie every loose end all through Sigrid.
It was, well, one, that's what I wanted to portray. So once I got to Sigrid, and Sigrid shaped, like I said, I felt like this was her story. Mm-hmm. She shaped everything else. So of course I did have to go back to drop something here or whatever the case may be. It wasn't hard to write Sigrid at all. Sigrid came out of me with ease out of all of them, but I did have to go back to cross my T's and dot my I's, and that's when I started putting the my timeline on my wall, like making sure. I said, okay, I got to do this right. Now, where was this bitch? He was here. He was getting a coffee. He was on the phone, and day by day, hour by hour of knowing where everybody is to get that accomplished. It took some work.
Because there were even some things as Sigrid is giving us her POV that I'm like, damn, I forgot that happened. That's true. It's like she went back from the top and was like, okay, let me tell y'all what actually happened. I know what you think took place, but let me show you what it really was. And it was incredible. It was unhinged as fuck. But it was just so incredible. This is a book that I wish I could read for the first time again. Like, I want to reread it now that I've seen it all the way through. You know how, like, you watch a movie and it shocks you and you're like, oh, I got to watch it again from the beginning and see what else I missed. Like, this book is one of those. It's like, now I got to start from the top and see all the little things I overlooked and missed. Like,
yeah, because you did miss some stuff. And that's the point. And hopefully readers, when book 2 comes, you got to go back and read it. Because even in this live, you missed some stuff.
I did.
But I will say, though,
it's just so much. And you think you need to grasp onto this, but then it's really this part too that you miss. Like, yeah.
You did phenomenal, though. Like, when you, through your voice notes, I was, like, impressed. I was like, yes! Because, like, the small jewels that, because in the very beginning, Sigrid tells Danielle, she's like, you talking to me or them bitches in your head? How about you go take your pills, one for each bitch, So, like, those are the big moments, but, like, those small moments, for you to catch it, like, I was like, yeah. Yeah.
I was doing my big one, y'all.
I said, you doing your big one, honey. Okay.
Okay, so I have a few questions that I always ask, and then I'll let you go because I didn't even mean to hold you this long.
Okay.
So one question, if you could pick anybody in a book to be your bestie, who would it be? And why?
Sigrid. Because just the power that she has, I feel like I can learn something. Being in the close proximity of what she has going on, I feel like I'll have the time of my life. And I know she'll take care of me. I know if I have an issue, she'll fix it.
Yeah.
Like that'll be like my nigga for sure.
I feel that. Was there anything in the story that was drastically different when you wrote it versus what we have now in the book?
What do you mean?
Like, was there something different? Like, you initially planned a scene or something to happen one way, but you changed it, and now we ended up with something different.
Yes, actually, I published part one in 2020, and it was called Miss Beretta. And in that story, right now I tell people I have it framed. It's in the DNF Hall of Fame. I didn't know what a plot was back then. I had a lot of pain on me, and writing was my therapy, you know?
Yeah.
So in that original part one, Miss Beretta, Sigrid was a minor character. She was only there in chapter 2, and there was a dinner scene. Like the scene that you said that was impactful, I wanted to bring that to life. She was at a dinner scene. Maxine was a police who was Danielle's best friend. Jasmine was a white girl, and her father owned the realtor company. It was just so much. Kevin wasn't even, excuse me, Kevin was there, but Kevin was like the best friend. He was really goofy. So just where they were then, everybody fell flat. Nobody had life. Nobody had personality. And so what you got now is just like a beautiful moment, a beautiful movement of me writing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Of my growth.
It was so good. It was so good. If you could change one decision that one of the characters made, what would it be and what would you have them do instead?
I would have to say Jasmine going out there to see John. I don't know. I just felt like, damn, she ain't have to do my boy like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I really love John.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would have her do instead, because of course that played a major part in the wheels turning. But if anything, maybe that, like Jasmine just doing that, you know? I feel like that changed the reader's perception a little bit of Jasmine. I don't know.
It definitely did.
So, yeah, that for sure.
Okay, and then I'm going to name some of the characters. I want you to tell me what you hope we received from each character. Okay? Jasmine.
That she was family oriented and she loved her daddy.
Yeah.
She was a daddy. If you get anything, but like I really wanted to give daddy's girl. That was it.
Kevin.
That like if you're not true and you follow people and you're not true to yourself, you're gonna be miserable and you're gonna die with that dream. Oh my God, I love Kevin. That would be it. A lot of me is in Kevin too. And it's just those moments where I never felt confident, you know? So if you believe in yourself, for sure, you got it. You're gonna be the one to make it to the end.
Okay. I'm gonna do this bonus one because it's my favorite. This one right here will be the book bag. Maxine.
If I could, it would be every nigga has a Rico Suave in them. Everybody has a Maxine in them. It don't matter if you are a feminine woman or whatever. Everybody has that personality where like you're just cool, calm, and collected. You're controlled and measured. So that will be it. Like everybody has a Maxine in them.
Okay. Jonathan.
What would I want the reader to get from Jonathan?
Yeah.
That if you don't heal, you will die from destruction.
Danielle.
If you don't heal and believe in yourself, the same thing. And take your medication. If them folks give you some meds, if you can learn anything from Danielle, it'll be take your medicine. And don't let, and don't get tricked. Don't get sent what they call sent out. Don't get sent out by old bitch.
And then finally, CC Secret.
That this is my world. And what you think you know, you don't know until I tell you. Yeah.
Okay, I love that. I love that. Okay, so I know you're working on part 2. Is there anything else that you are working on right now?
Yes, I'm working on a few. Like I said, the floodgates opened last night. But the one that's like on the side end is completely different from Triggered, and the book too. Like, I really wanted to show all my readers my range. That, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could be chaotic or whatever, but I have grown as a writer, and I want y'all to know that, like, I can build tension, I can build suspense, I can show love. I want a story, and it's coming, where, like, there isn't a lot of trauma. I just want to take you on a good ass ride and, take you up to the sky and just vibe with me. So that's it. That's it.
Okay. And okay, so do you have anything that you are currently working on? Any events? Anything you want to share with us before we go?
Yes, I will be next Saturday at Books and Blooms. I do want to give a shout out to the Lovely Readers Book Club. It's going to be like a book and swap, and we're going to build a bouquet of flowers. And I did get some of my author buddies to donate books. I'm going to do like a raffle there. So shout out to them, Britt W, K Nicole, C Winter, and Dee Author Dee. Right. And so just shout out to them. Shout out to Lovely Readers Book Club. I'm ready to have a time there. And just bring them with me, bring my author buddies with me. And so yeah, that's all I have right now. I'm looking at more events, but I really want to write my stories first. I'm not a fast writer. I don't know how people are pushing out shit. Like, I be dissociating like a motherfucker. So I'm really trying to work on my craft. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like with Triggered, I feel like I checked so many boxes that nobody's going to give me grace because this isn't my debut. Like, bitch, okay, so now I'm locked in. I'm going to support you. I fuck with you, but don't give me no bullshit. So that's what I'm on right now, just trying to perfect my craft, become a better writer, and give my readers what they deserve.
Okay. Well, whatever we can do to support, you just say the word and I got you.
Yes, I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for the book. Although, at some point, I'm going to have to cross paths with you because I just want you to write my name in mine. That's all. And put Kenneth's BFF in the Bible. But thank you so much for joining me. I will have this up on YouTube sometime next week so people can watch the replay. Yes. So the replay will be up because I'll probably read the book again and come back and watch and see what I might have missed. But thank you so much. I really enjoyed this book. I had a time. Can
I say something before we go?
Yeah.
So you sent me a message yesterday, right? And I hearted it. But I wanted to say that it impacted me, what you said about going into reading in a time in your life where it was healing for you. Mm-hmm. And as a writer, I'm using fiction to heal and to process things and to give certain pains a voice. So I just appreciate what you're doing, what other readers are doing for indie authors like myself in this community, giving us a platform to talk about our books, building our confidence. This does nothing but add logs to my fire. And I just appreciate this. I appreciate the like I said, the flyer. That was cute. I love a flyer. And I got a bunch of them, y'all. I keep them all. I can't wait to get like my room to put everything up. So I just appreciate you.
See, now I need to print out all my old ones and put them up. Yeah. But no, so because I think it was when I interviewed Monichia, we really talked about it. And I was saying, I went through, I had depression really, really bad in 2020. And like, it was bad. And I can definitely say if I didn't have a friend who was like, girl, download the Kindle app on your phone. Let me see some little novellas or something. Like, I don't think I will be here. And I'm just being real. Like, I really don't. And so I feel like it's my job and my way of thinking books and God even, the least I can do is, help support and promote, the thing that saved me. Because when I spoke about it on a video at the end of last year. And I got so many messages from people like, Nate, I was in the same place. The same thing happened for me. Like, y'all, what y'all do is helping people every day. Like, it's so many people. I have so many messages in my inbox saying that. And so I just feel like because it saved me, it's my job, like, to help. Maybe it'll find the next person. It's people who message me who are like, I don't even read books. And your video was cute, so I went ahead and downloaded it. Like, you never know what person needs this book. Somebody needs this book. And if me having you on here, me making some posts will help that person find it, like, then I did my job.
I appreciate it.
Always, when your next book comes out, if you drop another book that don't have nothing to do with this, like, whatever you do, I got you. You always got a spot. It's an open door at the epilogue.
Yes. Thank you for having me, for sure. Of
course. Thank y'all so much for joining us. Like I said, this will be up on YouTube in a couple of days. So if you missed the part, you can always go back and watch it from the top. If you haven't read Triggered, definitely go pick it up. It's so good. Make sure you have some paper and pen handy, okay? Because you're going to have to keep up. And we will just catch you guys next time. I will see y'all in 2 weeks with Mark Avery. We are doing Discipline next. All right, y'all. Bye. Have a good weekend, you guys.
Bye-bye.